All right, who said that we don't know the problem of Nigeria? The problem of Nigeria is not hidden, it's very open, and people in government also are saying it openly. The problem of Nigeria is religion, and the government is aiding and abetting this problem. Just tell me, how can the government not allow a certain people in the military intelligence to carry out investigation to solve the root cause of terrorism? Blatantly, government refused. You say that the government is not aiding and abetting them. It's just the religious conquest that is still ongoing, that is unfinished, and the plan is to finish it up. That's why America cannot fold their arms and allow international or even local terrorism to grow more wings, because they believe that just give it little time, it's going to spread all over the world and even affect the Americans themselves. That is why America don't wait for you to invite them. They know all this intelligence, they know all this information, and they will come for them.
So our message to these foreign terrorist organizations is we will treat you like we have treated Al-Qaeda. We will find you, we will map your networks, we will hunt you down, and we will kill you. We know exactly who these people are. We know what networks they work with, what foreign terrorist organizations they're a part of. We know where they're going, where they originated from, what they're carrying. And they know we know. So the Department of War is not going to degrade or just simply arrest. We're going to defeat and destroy these terrorist organizations to defend the homeland on behalf of the American people, making the jobs of law enforcement safer in the process, making the communities of Americans safer in the process. We think it's a very core mission of the Department of War, and we're proud to be here, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Pete.
You cannot ignore the fact that there is Nigerian government complicity with these attacks. You saw some of our journalists in the documentary. We wanted to be an organization that tells the truth about what's happening in Nigeria, hence truthnigeria.com. I want to just kind of let everybody know and help you understand how Nigerian news works. If a Nigerian government official does not call for a news conference, the event did not exist. So in order for the narrative to get to the mainstream media, get picked up by Al Jazeera, get picked up by CNN, everything else, it comes from a Nigerian government source. From the very beginning, they determine the narrative. The reporters regurgitate the government narrative. We decided to be a voice and try to help change that paradigm, and created Truth Nigeria to document what is actually happening. How many of you guys know that there were 10 Christians killed in Kaduna just the other day? How many of you know that there were 30 Christians killed in Plateau just a week ago? How many of you know that besides the 280 Christians that were killed in Yellowwater on June 13th, we are now about over 500 Christians that have been killed total since Yellowwater? No one knows. The media is not reporting it. Well, that's why we formed Truth Nigeria, to talk about what is going on. But also, what we pointed out in the documentary that I'd like everybody to realize is that Truth Nigeria had information that the attack on Yellowwater was going to occur 3 weeks before the attack happened. Now, when we get a terror alert and we find information, we know attacks are going to occur, our method is we issue a terror alert on our website, truthnigeria.com, but we also immediately call the local authorities. We notify the Nigerian military, the DSS, the Nigerian government, to let them know this is what we found out, this is our intelligence. Now, a day before the attack, we got word that there's movement happening. They are mobilizing, and they are coming for Yellowwater. So the day before, our team notified the government, the local authorities, the army, the police, and said, hey, there's movement, they're coming, watch out. What happened? Absolutely nothing. The government stood by and did nothing, with advance warning multiple times. In fact, there's a military fob with soldiers that was less than a kilometer away while the attacks were going on, shooting warning shots in the air, but did not engage the terrorists as people were being burned to death, hacked to death with machetes, and being slaughtered.
I've served the military intelligence for the past 35 years. It has always been the case. Our problem is religion and social-cultural. I mean, people would expect me to come here and start talking about kinetics, about operation and so on. I've been an operational commander all my life. I've commanded warships, I've commanded troops, I've commanded men outside Nigeria and so on. But I'm not going to come to your station to discuss kinetics. The problem is not kinetics. In 2017, 2016, I'm always a member of the Security and Intelligence Brief at the Defense Headquarters. So the center of gravity of Boko Haram and insurgency in Nigeria are the sponsors of that program. It was beyond us. Because the job we need to do is kinetics. Fight, destroy places, resolve issues. Yep. But we cannot resolve issue of sponsors of Boko Haram that were in Buhari's government, that we know them.
When you say we?
I was in the military intelligence. And the defense headquarters staff that I work with, they know. And that was why we couldn't pursue that aspect that could have resolved that problem. Because you need to arrest people. And recently, 400 people were gathered as sponsors of Boko Haram. Why is it that the government has refused to try them?
All right, having watched that, and I want to believe that once you know the cause of a problem, that the problem is half solved. So the question is, why have we not solved this problem of terrorism and banditry in Nigeria? The problem is because these guys have been beclouded about the agenda. The agenda of Islamization has beclouded them, that nobody, cares to go towards that side, to listen to other parties, the Christian side, to have their own, to fill their own purse because of the agenda that is in focus. If you doubt what I'm saying, I want you to listen to this Itiboribo and Abogumi. Just Itiboribo. Look at the way they are messing him up and down, and he cannot even think straight. When these agendas becloud them, they cannot think straight.
Court in Nigeria sentenced IPOB leader Nnamdi Kanu to life imprisonment, essentially, after finding him guilty of, terrorism, amongst other charges. How did you respond to that news? Do you think that was justice served on that case?
I think the Court of Justice of Nigeria, we have to have confidence in them. They have seen evidences and they have declared him, he's convicted, So, and he's given his own sentence. What I'm just saying is, looking at the political side of it, because still there is unrest in that region. If he shows any remorse and he's ready to denounce violence, he's ready to, then I think the government can look into that and give him a clemency.
So why do you think that if separatist leaders can be convicted for terrorism, why should the bandits not face the same?
If you can get the terrorist leaders, I'm ready. If we can catch them. Well, you cannot catch them until when you lose soldiers. We are losing soldiers.
All right, Ngwanu see person that said if you can catch them, that if you can catch the terrorists, if you can catch these bandits, look at what the man is saying. Meanwhile, he sits with them, they discuss together, he negotiates with them, and the government have the time to travel all the way to Kenya to go and catch another terrorist, but the one in your country you are dining and eating with them. What an irony. What kind of society are we running? What kind of monsters are we grooming? It's very unfortunate, and this is unheard of.
As you all can see on this video, this is Gumi, the Gumi where they talk about. Gumi and his children, his bandit children and relative for forest. Now they are having good time. Share you go negotiate with them. They are having good time. See the father.
They haven't been able to capture one terrorist or capture any bandit leaders. They hold meetings with them. One bandit in Katsina killed an assistant commissioner of police and put on his uniform to come for dialogue in Katsina. He did not even discard the uniform. After killing him, took his gun, he wore that uniform with the epaulets in place, with the rank in place, and came to Katsina for an open meeting in the uniform of an assistant commissioner of police that he murdered. And you say you have government in Nigeria. So that's why we call for a revolution.
It's because Nnamdi Kanu was captured. They are not able to capture the terrorists, and they don't want to capture them.
But you said they know them. They know them. They are not faceless. You said they are in the government.
From what? From the scenario I established. You don't believe that nobody knows them? From the scenario I presented on this program. You believe that nobody in government knows the terrorists, and they reach to them, and they can beat chest that I will get the girls or the students released?
So now what
I think the government should look inward and be serious.
So how do you want how serious do you want that to be? Because with all we've been seeing, they've been making moves.
It is their own people that are using the terrorists for political reasons.
We have the president, we have the national assembly, and of course the judiciary. And for now, since yesterday, I see the National Assembly coming up with different.
Are they waking up? Are they waking up from sleep?
Look at the submission.
Is there complacency that led to this? Are they just waking up from sleep? Is there complacency? Because they became an apron of the presidency. All of them, the judiciary and the National Assembly, nobody. Now, I dare the judiciary to rule against Wike in PDP crisis.
Now, many Nigerians are talking about it, comparing what the terrorists are doing and, of course, what the sentence granted to the IPOP leader, Nnamdi Kanu, which he was moved to Sokoto. That Nnamdi Kanu cannot be compared to what terrorists have been doing to Nigerians over the years, the loss of life, over 1,000 people. Look at Chibok. On Monday or Tuesday, I covered this event, and Chibok, another fresh attack in Chibok since 2000, since first day of the year, till date.
It's because Nnamdi Kanu was captured. They are not able to capture the terrorists, and they don't want to capture them.
But you said they know them. They know them. They are not faceless. You said they are in the government.
From what? From the scenario I established. You don't believe that nobody knows them? From the scenario I presented on this program. You believe that nobody in government knows the terrorists, and they reach to them, and they can beat chest that I will get the girls or the students released?
So now what
I think the government should look inward and be serious.
So how serious do you want that to be? Because with all we've been seeing, they've been making moves.
It is their own people that are using the terrorists for political reasons. And they know that.
Well, to me, I don't know what else we are waiting for to look for the solution to Nigeria. And it's very obvious that Nigerians cannot handle Nigeria problem. Yes, it's very obvious now because the powers that have established stronghold in Nigeria cannot allow the true solution to come in. So the only way now is what is happening. The foreign bodies like America and, Israel coming in to bring solution to Nigeria's problem. That is the only way out for me. And it's not just the way out. They need to act and act fast. That is the thing. Because if we miss this opportunity again, I wonder what else is going to happen. Because the thing is increasing as days goes by, weeks goes by, month goes by. We are hearing a whole lot of, bad stories to tell you how determined and the die-hard mind that these guys have. So something has to be done as quick as possible. People are proposing outright division of Nigeria, probably into 4 countries. That is what people are saying. And anything that we are doing, it has to be done as quick and swift as possible.
It is the kind of allegation that does not just shake a throne, it shakes the very foundation of the Nigerian Federation, striking at the heart of the most revered traditional institution in the country. The headline you saw is not a whisper from the rumor mill. It is a thunderous open indictment from an international observer, Mike Arnold, who has publicly named the Sultan of Sokoto, His Eminence Alhaji Saad Abubakar III, as a suspected sponsor or direct beneficiary of the terrorism ravaging northern Nigeria. Today, Saturday, December 6, 2025, we are breaking down this explosive dossier that has set the diplomatic and intelligence circles on fire. We are looking at the specific, damning checklist of innocence that Arnold has challenged the Sultan to meet, and we are connecting the dots between the Sultan's mysterious military past in Pakistan and the current Lakurawa invasion that is swallowing his domain. To understand the gravity of this moment, you have to realize that Mike Arnold is not just throwing stones. He is launching a precision missile at the credibility of the spiritual leader of Nigeria's 100 million Muslims. In a statement that has gone viral, Arnold argued that if the Sultan is truly innocent of the bloodshed happening under his watch, if he is not complicit in the slaughter of Christians and innocent villagers, he can prove it easily by taking specific actionable steps. But Arnold's conclusion is chilling. In my humble opinion, his continued refusal to do so points to his guilt. This is a direct accusation of tacit approval of genocide. Let's dissect the Pakistan connection, because this is the part of the accusation that has intelligence analysts sitting up. Arnold challenged the Sultan to produce verifiable records of his work as a brigadier general in Pakistan and Afghanistan. Now, why is this significant? We have verified that before he ascended the throne in 2006, Saad Abubakar served as Nigeria's defense attaché to Pakistan from 2003 to 2006, with accreditation to Afghanistan, Iran, and Saudi Arabia. This was the peak of the global war on terror, a time when that region was the headquarters of Al-Qaeda and the Taliban. Arnold is asking a dark question. What exactly did he do there? Who did he meet? Did he bring back an ideology that is now playing out in the forests of Zamfara and Sokoto? The insinuation is that the radicalization we see in the north today might have roots in those diplomatic years, and the refusal to open those files is fueling the suspicion that the Sultan might still be thinking like a general with a hidden agenda. Then there is the issue of fatwas. Arnold needs a simple demand. Issue fatwas against it. Declare killing of infidels to be haram. For years, critics have asked why the Sultanate has been relatively quiet or generic in its condemnation of religious violence. When Deborah Samuel was killed in Sokoto or blasphemy, the silence from the palace was deafening to many. Arnold is arguing that as the supreme head of the Islamic faith in Nigeria, the Sultan has the power to stop the religious justification for these killings with a single decree. By refusing to issue a specific fatwa declaring the killing of Christians as haram, Arnold argues he is giving the killers a theological pass. He is accusing the Sultan of repudiating radical imams only in private, while allowing them to radicalize youths in public. We also have to look at the mineral resources angle. Arnold challenged the Sultan to mobilize against the vast looting of minerals from his domain. This connects directly to the Lakurawa terror group we have been tracking. Security reports confirm that these terrorists are not just killing for sport. They are securing illegal gold mining sites in Zamfara and Sokoto. The northern governors recently called for a ban on mining, but Arnold's point is sharper. How can vast looting happen in the Sultan's backyard without his knowledge? In the traditional structure of the north, the emir knows every stranger who enters his domain. If foreigners from Mali and Niger are extracting gold and buying weapons, is it possible they are doing so without paying homage to the traditional powers? The accusation here is one of direct beneficiary, that the blood money from the mines might be flowing upwards. This allegation comes at a time when the Sultan has been presenting himself as a peacemaker, advocating for the release of Nnamdi Kanu and praising activists like Somore. But Arnold's statement suggests this peace-building image is a mask. He accuses the Sultan of showing not even a hint of moral outrage for the atrocities committed against the innocent. He paints a picture of a leader who is comfortable dining with presidents in Abuja while his own people are slaughtered by Lakurawa and bandits in the villages. The recent invasion of villages in Tangaza and Gudu, where terrorists imposed their own government and collected taxes, happened just kilometers from the Sultan's palace. How does a former brigadier general allow a foreign army to occupy his land unless he is complicit or compromised? The Lakurawa factor is particularly damning. Reports indicate that this group was initially invited by local leaders in 2017 to fight bandits. If the Sultan's district heads invited these foreign fighters who have now turned into monsters, does the ultimate responsibility not lie with the Sultan? Arnold's checklist demands that he work with authorities to identify, locate, and bring the terrorists to book. The implication is that the Sultan knows who they are, knows where they are, but is refusing to give them up. It suggests a protection racket where the traditional institution shields the terrorists from the military onslaught. This expose forces us to rethink the entire security architecture of Nigeria. If the accusations are true, even partially, it means the war against terror is unwinnable because the enemy is inside the command center. It means that every time the military plans an attack, the information might be leaking from the very palaces they are trying to protect. It explains why the banditry has lasted for over a decade, despite billions of dollars spent on security. Arnold is essentially saying, you are not fighting ghosts, you are fighting the Sultan's foot soldiers. The silence of the Sultanate in the face of such a specific itemized accusation will only fuel the fire. Mike Arnold has drawn a line in the sand. He says these are easy and a no-brainer for any blameless person. By listing actions that are within the Sultan's power, issuing a fatwa, releasing military records, exposing sponsors, he has cornered the monarch. If the Sultan ignores this, it looks like arrogance or guilt. If you respond, he validates the accuser. So, as we watch the Northwest burn, we must ask, is the Sultan a victim of a chaotic system, or is he the architect of the chaos? Is he a helpless traditional ruler, or is he the powerful general pulling the strings of a holy war? Mike Arnold says the evidence points to guilt. And until the Sultan issues that fatwa, exposes those sponsors, and opens his Pakistan files, that dark cloud of suspicion will remain over the throne of Sokoto. What do you think? Is Mike Arnold's accusation a brave truth or a reckless conspiracy theory? And should the Sultan be compelled to release his military records from Pakistan? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. We will keep digging until the truth is unearthed.
Unknown. The 10,000 soldiers we recruited last year are nowhere to be found. If Nigeria youth refuse to join army, we will make it mandatory. So it's compulsory for everyone above 18 years to join the army, or else it won't.
Islam is not a religion, it is a political movement. Egypt was a Christian country and it was conquered by Islam. Yemen was Christian and Islam conquered it. Morocco was Christian and Islam conquered it. Iraq was Christian and Islam conquered it. For 1400 years, Islam has been conquering countries, and the next big dog on the list is America. And if the American church does not wake up, not in fear, but wake up to preach the truth of the Bible, you will lose this country. The devil wants America, but we want Jesus to reign here. If you want Jesus, you got to reject Muhammad. If you want the Bible, you got to reject the Quran. If you want the 10 Commandments, you got to reject Sharia law. If you want churches, you got to reject the mosque. You will either have Jesus or Muhammad, but you can't have both.
Amen.
Distinguished senators, resume your seat, please. Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, lead debate on a bill for an act to amend the Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Act to designate kidnapping as an act of terrorism and to prescribe the death penalty for such offenses and for related matters, 2025 SB 965. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to lead the debate on the general principles of the Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Amendment Bill 2025. The bill seeks to amend the extant law to, among other things, designate kidnapping, hostage taking, and related offenses as acts of terrorism, and to prescribe death penalty for such offenses without option of fine or alternative sentence, among others. This bill was read for the first time on Thursday, 27th November 2025. And Mr. President and distinguished colleagues, may I also add that this bill is coming pursuant to the resolve of this 10th Senate and the 10th Assembly to join hands with Mr. President and other arms of government in bringing a lasting solution to the insecurity challenge that we are faced with as a country. 3 weeks ago, this hallowed chamber, the Senate held an executive session, and part of the resolutions at the executive session was that the office of the Senate leader should, without any delay, come up with a bill that will redesignate kidnapping as an act of terrorism, thereby attracting a death penalty. So this bill is part of the resolutions of the 10th Senate. This bill, the contemplation of this bill, Mr. President and my colleagues, is a direct response to one of the gravest security challenges threatening the lives, livelihoods, and future of our people. It is a known fact that in our country today, kidnapping has become one of the most pervasive and destructive crimes. What once started as isolated incidents have now escalated into a well-coordinated, commercialized, and highly militarized acts of violence perpetrated by organized criminal groups. So prevalent is the kidnapping situation that there is hardly any region of our country that no kidnapping cases are reported. This development has instilled widespread fear in communities, undermined national economic activities and agricultural output, interrupted children's education, bankrupted families due to payment of ransom, claimed countless innocent lives, as well as overstretched our security forces. The objectives of this bill, Mr. President and distinguished colleagues, are threefold. One, it seeks to designate kidnapping and hostage-taking as acts of terrorism. This classification will further empower our security agencies with broader operational authority, intelligence capabilities, and prosecutorial tools available under counter-terrorism law. Secondly, the bill seeks to prescribe death penalty without an option of fine or lesser sentence for kidnapping and hostage-taking because of their catastrophic impact on national security and the well-being of the people. This stringent punishment is to serve as deterrence to perpetrators. Thirdly, Mr. President and distinguished colleagues, the bill seeks to dismantle kidnapping networks by enabling stronger enforcement regime aimed at placing kidnapping under the terrorism framework, where relevant agencies can pursue asset tracing and forfeiture, intelligence-led operations, interagency coordination, swift pretrial procedures under terrorism laws, as well as disruption of funding and logistics chains. Mr. President and distinguished colleagues, the pattern of organization, brutality, and destabilization association.
So you have heard it that the Senate has approved terrorism to be death sentence and kidnapping. So, but I'm not sure if the president has given assent to do that, but I'm showing you the level of what they have done so far in that regards. And that reminds me, you know, when you put one and one together, you understand what is happening in Nigeria clearly. Now, America volunteered to help Nigeria in fighting these insurgents, but Nigeria ran to Turkey. America is a Christian country. We know that. Nigeria ran to Turkey, that they are being suspected of sponsoring Boko Haram and other, you know, terrorist organization. Allegedly, they ran to them, and Nigeria is now giving publicity. They are giving publicity to that. Much overbloated publicity, telling you that anything that doesn't have with Muslim in Nigeria is not going to work. That is what the implication is. And it's very clear. Can't we get the message clear? Is there anything blocking our vision, our ears, that we cannot get this message very clear? Where are the big-time pastors? They are debuting them, the Oyakilome, the big-time pastors that we have in Nigeria. What are they saying about the situation? Absolutely nothing. This is when we are supposed to show the Christ-like behavior that shows that we are Christians. This is the time. The world is having religious issues, and that is what, America and Israel is trying to, stop. But Christians are not like attack. Christians is always on the defensive side, which is not too good. But that is how Christians are. They are not on the attack side, of which the other religion is on the attack side. You see? Just watch and listen to this.
Nation. With the benefit of hindsight, this does not come as a surprise. Past American governments had once announced that Nigeria would break by 2015. When that did not happen, after 10 years, they are now taking deliberate steps to make it happen. It seems like the plot they are working on is to instigate a religious crisis in the country by provoking the Muslim population. Recently, the US President, Donald Trump, made an accusation that there was a Christian genocide going on in Nigeria, even confirming that churches were being burned and Christians killed virtually every day. He then started rolling out conditions to be met by the Nigerian government and sanctions to be considered on government, individuals, and groups. He went on to list Nigeria yet again as a country of special concern. Among the conditions he rolled out was that the Sharia system was to be abolished in the northern states and blasphemy laws be scrapped. Then, last week, a group of Nigerians living in the US, led by one Dr. Ebenezer Obadere, senior fellow at the Council on Foreign Relations, visited the US Congress masquerading as so-called experts on Nigerian affairs to request the Congress to make the US government demand that the Nigerian government put pressure on the northern states to abolish the Sharia system and the Hizbah. At this juncture, we would like to make the following observations. One, even the British colonialists who conquered our land by force of arms could not altogether get rid of the Sharia system. Therefore, no foreign power can do it now, after more than 60 years of independence. Two, the Sharia system is an integral part of our constitution, which, in recognition of everybody's right to religious freedom, provided for three legal systems, namely the British common law, the Sharia personal law, and the customary law. Three, moreover, the Constitution allowed for concurrent powers that gives states the power to make laws affecting any of the concurrent list, of which enacting Sharia law is a part of. 4. Unless the Constitution of our country and its democratic federalism is going to be trampled on, the plot to force the federal government to pressure state governments to abolish the Sharia system and Hizbah is not wise. 5. The Sharia system has never been imposed on any non-Muslims in Nigeria. 6. The blasphemy law is not a religious law, but a law enacted by respective state assemblies in order to preserve peace and harmony. 7. The Sharia system has no connection whatsoever with the different types of insecurity issues happening in Nigeria. 8. The Hizbah institution has never engaged in any type of unrest. It is an unarmed organization concerned only with the enforcement of Sharia moral laws within the ambit of the national law. Therefore, on behalf of all the 40 Islamic organizations that form the Zamfara State Muslims League, we hereby state the following. 1. We in Zamfara State are more than 99% Muslims. We were the first to implement the Sharia system in 1999. We want all and sundry to know that we are comfortable with the system and we will never allow it to be tampered with. 2, the request of Dr. Obadere is not based on any expertise, but on biasness and Islamophobia. 3, the US has no business meddling in the international affairs of our country, or act as a custodian of a certain religion, or start a new crusade against Islam, with Nigeria as its first victim. 4, we emphatically affirm that Muslims in Nigeria will not stand by and look while a foreign power dismantles the Sharia system just to make some anti-Islamic Christians happy. We know that America has been sponsoring Zionist terrorism in Palestine and the genocide of Muslims. We are also ready to pay the price the Palestinians are paying if America should decide to come to Nigeria to dismantle Sharia. 5, we are calling on President Bola Tinubu to tread carefully. He should remember that he rose to power on the goodwill of Sharia-loving Muslim population of this country. 6, we also call on Muslim representatives in the Senate and the House of Representatives never to allow themselves to be used for the achievement of crooked objectives detrimental to the interests of those they represent. 7, we call on our governors and members of the respective houses of assemblies not to relent or give in on this matter. They must stand firm and ensure our freedoms in a sovereign Nigeria. We are also using this medium to appeal to our northern governors, especially the Sharia compliant states, to intensify efforts in protecting, safeguarding, and promoting the Sharia legal system in their respective states. 8, it is time for our traditional rulers to stand up and talk. The labor of our leaders past shall never be in vain. 9, our ulama and imams must stand up and talk. Imams must convey our message of resistance on all pulpits. Sharia implementation is our religious right, which we are entitled to. We will never accept intervention on how to practice our religion from any quarter. 10, finally, we call on all Muslims in Nigeria to be ready to defend our religion and the Sharia system, whatever it takes. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sai tambayoyi a bayan.
And I just finished watching an interview granted by the Minister of Defense, General Christopher Musa, where he said that Nigeria is ready, that Nigerian defense are happy to welcome and to work with the Turkish government or the Turkish military to come and help them to fight insecurity in Nigeria. And after watching this, I said, what? So Nigeria is ready to work with the Turkish government to fight insecurity, but they're not ready to work with the US government. What is happening? Are you telling me that Turkey is more advanced technology-wise? Otherwise, are you telling me that that Turkey is, advanced more than US? Of course, you cannot compare Turkey to US. US is far beyond Turkey when it comes to, technology and military. But then, the Nigerian government, according to the interview granted by the Minister of Defense, the Nigerian government is not welcoming US, but they are welcoming Turkey. And after listening to this interview, I'm going to play the video for you right now. After listening to it, I began to ask myself question, what is really happening? What is really happening? There is a popular adage in Igbo. So why is Nigeria living where the Chio also going eba? What is happening? Not only that, just yesterday we saw a tweet actually that trended on Twitter where the Turkey president was, giving Nigeria an Islamic nation. In the tweet, he mentioned that Nigeria is an Islamic nation. And I began to ask myself, what is happening? My brothers, things are happening. But then I have to go back. And then I remember a broadcast that was made by this man where he said that they are coming to Islamize Nigeria. Honestly, it seems that is what is happening. Please, I don't want to talk too much. I will allow you now to listen to the video, or the interview rather, granted by the Minister of Defense. Hear it as he say it. Then you do well to drop your comment in the comment section what you think. Because I tell you that things is happening. Nigeria have and it's unfortunate. Please listen to the minister.
On Charity World One-on-One.
Thank you.
Now, let's get straight into it. How would you describe the current state of Turkey-Nigeria defense relations?
Wonderful. I mean, it didn't start today. It started quite a long time. And what the president's trying to do is to try to foster it and make it more strategic in what we're doing. Both countries have been very close, have shared close relationship over time, and then we want to leverage on that. Turkey is a great country that has done great things to the world. It has helped in stabilizing the area, and we want to tap into that and continue to work together.
So what are the strategic objectives of your country's military cooperation with Turkey?
Yeah, I mean, it has to do together holistically with training, production of equipment. We want to leverage on the experience of Turkey. I mean, Turkey has over time had issues with terrorism and how they had been able to tackle it and be able to remain very peaceful and developing. Nigeria want to tap into that. The challenges we're having in Nigeria, we feel because we don't produce most of the equipment we need, has made it very difficult fighting this terrorism. And so we want to leverage on the experience, the training, the capacity that Turkey has in also improving on our own capacity to secure our country.
And it's good you've talked about intelligence sharing, because Turkish Foreign Minister, that is Hakan Fidan, let me just specifically say what he said, recently emphasized on solidarity in combat. So does this mean we are moving towards, real-time intelligence sharing with Ankara? Or also, is the relationship between Turkey and Nigeria strictly transactional and equipment-based?
No, it's holistic. Terrorism is all over the world. And so if you have to address it, you have to have countries that have the reach. Turkey has the experience, they have the know-how, they have the knowledge, they have the intelligence that we can leverage on. Because like we said, Boko Haram, ISWAP, not only in Nigeria. In fact, Africa is facing a daunting task in dealing with it. Of the AES countries, Mali, Chad, and Niger Republic is stretching up into into Benin Republic. Mozambique is having the same issues. Libya is still not stable. So it's a holistic thing that we need. I want to leverage on these experiences and the reach that Turkey has in order to address our own issue. So it's beyond just the military aspect. It's a holistic aspect, also into social welfare, how they have been able to use that to address poverty, illiteracy. And I think those are critical aspects.
Beyond just buying hardware, from Turkey, what specific technology transfer agreements are in place to ensure that Nigerian engineers can maintain, what you've gotten from Turkey and eventually manufacture this system locally?
Beyond this, we're also into the Navy too. We're into ship production. The drones are part of it, and including we have bought some Cobra APCs from here, some other aspects, counter IEDs, counter drones, and all these aspects into it. Now, it shows that we want to leverage on the knowledge and the technology that Turkey has in order to develop this in our country. Last year, our president, signed the bill for our defense industry to cooperate and also work together with other countries so that we can develop our own capacity. Because it is one thing to buy, it's another thing to sustain and maintain what you have. So we're working together. Our engineers are having the technology. They will do the training. Whatever we're buying, this technology will be transferred to us so that we'll also produce in situ. Now, why do we need that? Nigeria has a population of over 250 million with over 923 square kilometers. It's massive. Our neighbors most of them Francophone countries with their own challenges too. So we need to be strong for the region. And I think that's what we are leveraging on. So we're going to get this technology. We're going to develop our own capacity to maintain and produce. And I think it's a win-win thing on both parts.
So on the no strings attached policy, because Western allies often tie arms sales to human rights benchmarks. Yeah, you agree with me. So Turkey is known for a no strings approach. How does this partnership between Turkey and Nigeria change your operational freedom when deploying Turkish assets in domestic operations like, the Project Guardian in the northwest Nigeria?
Truthfully, Nigeria is signatory to a human rights charter and all this, and we are a professional armed forces. Even when you had issues of speculations or rumors of human rights abuses, it doesn't happen anymore. We're well trained, we're well prepared. And so working with Turkey is going to be okay because we know we have to secure the human rights of our citizens, which is to us is very critical. So we don't need any other person to come and give us as a standard because we already operate on that. And so Turkey took keys into that, and I think we're doing very well.
We've seen a distressing spike in mass abductions in the northwest of Nigeria. You can agree with me on that, with over 160 worshippers taken just, a few days ago. That's not just a small number. This is a big number. Why does the military struggle to maintain to bring a permanent solution to what is happening in the northwest and present, so that they can maintain a permanent presence in these hotspot rural districts like Kajuru?
Great question. The question is why? Why is somebody kidnapping somebody who is poor, who is just trying to live, who doesn't have a penny to pay? And you want to collect ransom. Who is going to pay the ransom? So why is it kidnapping? There's a tendency that people want to make Nigeria look unsafe, to make the government look weak, so that they can for political leverage. And besides that, Nigeria, like I mentioned, has a land area of almost 923,000 square kilometers. It's massive. So ability to man all through is not there. Now, why sometimes people wonder, you take 100, how do you take them without the security forces? Most of these areas are areas where there's no communication. Now, what these guys do is that they have informants spread all over. And, I mentioned the issue of the informants. So what they do is that once troops are at this particular area, they give the information, nobody is at that area. And so they move to such areas. And because sometimes the infrastructure to get there takes time, most times there are no communication sites. So before you even get the information, the deed had already been done. They had already gone before you get the information. So efforts have been made. The government is doing all it can to ensure that it leverages and express out our communication system so that we can have real-time information when things are happening.
The recent U.S. strikes in Sokoto suggest a deeper, level of foreign military involvement in Nigerian soil. So what is the specific rules of engagement, agreement between Abuja and Washington regarding these operations?
No action can be taken by any foreign nation without the permission of the president. So we're working jointly. We're mapping the area jointly. We give where we think there's a greater threat for them to take action on. What we can do, we do. It is what is beyond us that we call for assistance. And it's done all over the country, all over the world. It's not the first time we're doing. Remember, Nigeria was in Sierra Leone. Nigeria was in Liberia. Nigeria was in Congo. Nigeria was in Burma. So we've done a lot in other countries too. Now, with the asymmetric warfare, because of its challenges. And that's why we need the support. It's a cooperative one, and we're working together. So no action is going to be taken without our own permission. So sovereignty is not compromised.
Let's have a look at the flip side of the coin. Trillions of naira have been allocated to defense in the last 3 budget cycles. You can agree with me, Mr. Minister. Can you point to one specific technological or structural game changer that justifies the sort of spending to the Nigerian taxpayer?
The first thing is, at least, how was it before? How is it now? Before now, it used to be so bad in Nigeria, but now you can find out, yes, you can count 1 or 2 attacks, 1 or 2 kidnappings here, and it is being addressed. Like I said, we are all over the country. The armed forces is fighting on all fronts. We have 6 zones in the country. We are almost everywhere, trying to make sure that there's peace. Now, again, people always mention about the budgets. And I said, look, everything we buy, from the bullets to everything we buy in foreign currency. If you look at our budget and you convert it to foreign currency, what can it fetch you? A Tomahawk, I just give an example, a medium-range TB2 drone missile is about $150,000. That's to over 200 million naira, just one. So it is very, very expensive. American budget this year is over 1 trillion. Trump wants to make it $1.5 trillion, and they produce the equipment. So to tell you that defense is expensive. So every penny that is released is spent wisely. We have to take care of the troops. We have to build our own capacity. And I can tell you, now we have developed a capacity that we can take a burnt down APC and refit it and bring it back into service using our own local resources.
Right, and some of these threats that Nigeria is facing is coming from neighboring countries. So how effective is Nigeria's security cooperation with neighbors, neighboring countries in tackling cross-border threats?
Wonderful, wonderful. It's been, we have the multinational joint task force that has to do with Nigeria, Niger, Chad, and Cameroon. Niger pulled out temporarily, but bilaterally, we are working with Niger. We're working with Benin Republic. We're doing a lot of recent the coup in Benin. We had to step in order to assist them in ensuring that there was no coup, and that's assisted in ensuring that democracy continues to strive. So we're doing well. We have a good relationship, even with Niger, that people thought because they pulled out from ECOWAS. We know the importance and the relevance of working together. We share a border of about 1,500 kilometers with Niger. It's massive. The population in Niger is just less than 30 million. And the size of Niger is almost 1.5 the size. So you can imagine that space. Now, why do we have these issues? You see, since Libya went down, the whole of that Sahel area has become open. And so it's work in progress to ensure that we get those things really, really covered.
And this is for the sake of families of these military officers who are wondering what is the fate of their loved ones. We're talking about the military officers who are expected to face trial over a coup plot.
I mean, everybody knows, you know the repercussion when you take such actions. So I'm sure they've made up their minds. They must have considered their families. But the truth about it is that even at that, the armed forces, the government is ensuring that the family, they are treated fairly. The announcement just came out, so they're going to face court martials as usual. The court martials will be free and fair. They'll be allowed to get their own counsels that will defend them on their actions. And the family members are not left alone. The government is also making sure that at least they take care, because the wives and the children need to be looked after. But the main perpetrators already know the repercussion to their action, and I'm sure they're ready to face the wrath.
And finally, let me just take you back to, recently President Donald Trump alleged that Christians were being killed in Nigeria. As a defense minister of Nigeria, what military consequences does your country face when such allegations arise internationally?
Well, the truth about it is that, there's a lot of misinformation, like I said. Nigerians are being killed holistically. Christians, Muslims, not atheists, and all. All we want is these killings to stop. And that's the work we're doing. That's what we're concentrating on. And we assure Nigerians that we're going to protect them together, working. So whatever anybody is bringing from outside, I think we've had several meetings with the Americans. Just a few days we had this general where we discussed this, and we made it very clear that yes, areas where Christians are more Christians will be killed. Where Muslims are more Muslims will be killed.
All right. Thank you so much, retired General Christopher Musa, Minister of Defense of Nigeria.
Some of you don't want to reason. You don't ever learn that the main aim of Fulani is to conquer your land and enslave you. Look at Hausa people today. As I wrote yesterday, they are worse than a discarded tissue paper. They are worth nothing. Only their language is what is relevant in their lives. Everything else is lost. All of you are repeating the exact same mistakes that the Hausas made. That is why they are in trouble. And that is why they can never ever come out of it. They are all suffering from an advanced version of the Stockholm Syndrome. Can you imagine that these people came into their land and took it over, and they cannot do anything about it? Hausa is gone. It took Fulani very many years before they came out of their shell to say we are Fulani. Remember before, many years ago, they said we are Hausa Fulani. We are Hausa Fulani. Because that time, their subjugation of the Hausa race hasn't been completed. Now they have completed it. Have they not completed it? And what is happening right now? I ask you, what is happening now? Fulani have now come out to tell you we are Fulani people. Is that not what they are saying now? They are not telling you we are Fulani. No more Hausa Fulani. What does that tell you? That the Hausa race no longer exists. Do you want the same thing to happen to you?
Do you want the same thing to happen to your families, to your villages? Do you want your towns, let's say Obomosho, to be renamed into a Fulani name? Do you want Onisha to answer a Fulani name? Forget all the nonsense about unity of Nigeria. All they are uniting against is your common interest. Unless you prefer epileptic power supply, unless you prepare to live your whole life without running water, unless you want to live in abject poverty and deprivation, your only alternative is a revolution. Let nobody discourage you. All the countries of the world doing very, very well, they all went through a revolution. You must go through it. If you don't go through it, you can never ever survive. As a people, Fulani will take you over. As simple as that. This very day, we are making it known to the whole world that the Muslim extremist dictatorship masquerading as a secular democratic government must be demolished. It must be demolished for you to survive. They have to be demolished. If you do not demolish them, your lives will end very, very miserably. I assure you. I assure you. The zoo is on its knees. Everybody knows that the zoo called Nigeria is on its knees. Who doesn't know that? Everybody knows. Nothing is functioning. You are all aware of it. When they say go and register for NIM or whatever, NIM or whatever rubbish is called, all of you trooped out without legislation, without any laws. Fulani can control you however they like. Once they announce it, Yoruba newspapers very foolishly and stupidly will support them because they want Tinubu as the president. And you are all dying every blessed day. You are all dying every day. Had you people risen up to say that what is happening in Nigeria is bad, there is no way that Fashoranti's daughter will not be alive today. That is the price you pay for duplicity. That is the price you pay for treachery. That is the price you will continue to pay until you rise up and say enough is enough. It is up to you to do it. You did it during NSAS. You can do it again. Can you imagine Fulani people telling you, if you remove Fulanis from Yoruba forest, imagine Fulani telling you, if you remove them from your ancestral lands, there will be war, and you are panicking. And you have not asked yourself, why are they not saying the same thing about the East? Why did they not say to Eastern Security Network? Why did they not say to me, if you don't stop evacuating Fulani terrorists from the forest, there will be war? Because they know. They understand psychologically that you don't have what it takes to resist them. Do you know why Borno State is still alive? Why you still have the Kanuri people in Borno today? Was because they resisted the Fulani centuries ago. You have to go back to history to understand how Nigeria came into existence. Fulani has been expanding from day one, from Senegambia. All the way from Senegambia, they've been expanding, and now they are in Okigwe. All the way from Senegambia, they are now in Okigwe. And you're asking us to somehow fold our hands and keep quiet because of 2023, because one idiot is going to come out to become a president, because of that rubbish, because of that nonsensical notion, we should fold our hands and wait until we are overrun by the Janjaweed from the Sahel. Is that how reasonable people think? Is that how people that wish to survive as a race, is that how they reason? It is very, very shocking that some of you do not understand what the Fulanis have in store for you. Very, very soon it is going to happen. And when it happens, your eyes will clear. And about whom you will see it very clearly. I was warning you. In 2014, 2015, 2016, they said he's a warmonger. He's a warmongering. I went to America and I told World Igbo Congress that this war you are avoiding is going to come to your villages. They said, no, it's not going to happen. What is happening today? When Yoruba was supporting the dead idiot called Buhari, did I not warn them that this evil you're supporting will consume you? They never listened. They never wanted to listen. IPOB is a terrorist group. You're trying to divide Nigeria. But Mietiana is not.
People that you are calling bandits, have you heard anybody come out to say, please, Buhari, since presidency is there defending terrorists in the forest, why don't you proscribe them? No, you cannot proscribe a Fulani group. Never. And all of you, we are supporting evil. When there is the proscribed IPOB, proscribed indigenous people of Biafra. These are Yoruba journalists writing junk. Every day they keep writing rubbish. But their land is under siege. Their land is under siege. And the Fulani will take it. It don't take time. So I am here today to encourage them that they must stand tall and be very strong, resolute. That is what Fulani does. They control the media. They have well-paid consultants all over the world doing their bidding for them. They have that woman at UN trying to lobby the world that everything is okay in the zoo called Nigeria. But you and I know that the zoo is not okay. You and I know the game plan of the Fulani. And what are you doing about it? Nothing. Every day you read, you lament, you complain. Every day you read, you lament. And that's all you do. That is all you do. You read, you lament, you complain, you do nothing about it. Your lives are being taken away from you. Your forests are being occupied. Your mothers are being raped. Your daughters are being abducted. And the whole national government, presidency, is supporting such people. And you're telling me that Nigeria is viably sustainable. Is that what you're telling me? That somehow this contraption is sustainable, it is viable. It can never be. Because the more you stay in one Nigeria, the more you are inviting the Fulanis to take over your ancestral lands, take over your villages, and to make life a misery for you. That is the end game. That is the outcome. If you doubt me, go and do a bit of research. Ask yourself, who are the Hausa people? Who are the Nupe people? Who are the Bachama people? All of these people were steamrolled by the Fulani march to the Atlantic Ocean. And now they're in Yoruba land. They're in their forests. They are in their forests. And who is going to drive them away from there? If not the Yoruba youths. Forget about your useless governors. Your elders are very strong. I love Yoruba elders. The way they behave, the way they talk. Very, very strong. They say they support Akeredolu. This is the governor of Ondo State. They support him in what he's doing. People must come out to say that enough is enough. When you travel to the north, do you live in the forest in the north? The Igbo people in Sabongeri in Kanu. Are they living of course it's Hausa land? Are they living in the forest? They came to the town. They work very hard. They build houses. They build mansions. They develop the entire place. Is that not what they do? What are Fulani people doing in our forest? Nobody can answer that question. They say that they're pastoralists. I want some of you who have had your breakfast this morning. Please go to your fridge or go to where you keep your beverages and you will see pig milk. Pig. Some of us were raised on pig milk. For how many years now? And you keep asking yourself, what is pig milk? Pig milk is mineral. The same milk that the cows produce in Holland can be produced in the zoo. Tell me the country in the world aspiring to be a member of the UN Security Council where you move cattle from place to place. Are you people well at all? You so-called Nigerians, are you normal in the brain? I'm asking you a simple question. Show me a country that aspires to be in the 21st century moving cattle from place to place. Tell me they're grazing. Which country is that? Please tell me. All of you don't have any shame. When you have people, an entire presidency coming out to defend a very primitive, archaic agricultural practice, then you know you embrace serious mess. You are in one almighty trouble, I'm telling you. People are in a mess. The Holland that you get your pig milk from, do they move cattle from Rotterdam to Amsterdam? I'm asking you a simple question. But they produce the pig milk that you're drinking every blessed day. Why can't Fulani produce pig milk in Sokoto? Why can't they produce carnation milk in Kanu? They have the cattle. Before the white man came, did you see any Fulani in your forest? All these people talking rubbish about movement of cattle and movement of... I'm asking you, before Britain came and handed over Nigeria to Fulani, ask your grandfathers, please, or your grandmothers. Ask them. All this nonsense we are hearing today in this so-called one, I want to tell you the dangers of one Nigeria. All this nonsense you're hearing today about one Nigeria, Fulani in our forest, Fulani in our village. Before the white man came, did you see Fulani moving their cattle all over the place? Did we not have meat to eat?
They will answer these questions for you. Because sometimes in Africa, we don't reason very well. The way we reason is disjointed. It is disjointed. I can't understand for the life of me why, instead of them to waste all that money arming and equipping this Janjaweed army Mihetiala to come and conquer you and I, why don't they open a milk factory somewhere in the north and bring the milk down south? I'm sure Southerners will buy it. After all, pig milk comes all the way from Holland. Pig milk all the way from Holland. Now you understand it. Because of the way you people reason. Why can't you produce? Is it difficult to produce milk? The same milk that comes out naturally from the udder of the cow. Why can't you can it somewhere, pasteurize it, and send it to people to eat, to drink, or to do whatever with? All over the world, that is what is happening. In fact, they produce so much milk in Europe that they pour it away. Why can't you do the same thing? A whole president claiming they are in the 21st century are supporting a very primitive practice of moving cattle from place to... All of you, you're not ashamed of yourselves. You have no shame. As somebody will say, your shame is shaming me. I'm telling you, you people from the zoo, I'm ashamed of your ignorance and stupidity. You people are hopeless, completely hopeless. One day I want idiot to come and say, we are intellectuals. And you're moving cattle from Kafanchan to Ahoda. You are intellectuals. You are intellectualizing. You are in the 21st century, you are moving cattle, driving cattle, Nama, from over 300 miles. Claiming Yoruba forest is a place for you to be in. You want to relax, Yoruba forest is every Nigerian is free to live anywhere. And do their business anywhere, yes. But when an Igbo man tries to sell beer in Kano, you destroy it. You destroy their businesses, you destroy their hotels, but you can come down to the south and live anywhere you like and grace anywhere you like. And you're telling me that is a country, that is one Nigeria for you? The Fulanis we are talking, they call them the Funa movement. Our attention has been drawn to a decree credited to one Rotimi Akeredolu, asking Fulani people who have occupied some forests in Ondo State to quit. We are also aware of another incident in Oyo State where an illiterate political talk gave quit notice to Fulani people to leave their territories, which are now their irreversible homes. Are you listening? Fulani are now saying that Yoruba forest is now their irreversible homes. They have now occupied Yoruba land in perpetuity. And I want to let my Yoruba friends understand this. You see, in life, anytime you support evil, evil will come back to haunt you. All of you never knew that IPOB and this Biafra movement was for your liberation. Some of you saw maybe the oil and gas from Biafra land. If they go now, we'll have access to oil and gas. In the process of having your eyes fixated on oil and gas, your forest is gone. Do you understand it? There is nothing more precious in life than freedom. Freedom is very important. And I need you to understand this very morning. Every Yoruba person supporting Fulani, you are setting up yourself to become like the Hausa people. Remember when Hausa was supporting Fulani? We are Hausa Fulani, we are Hausa Fulani. Where are the Hausa people today? I ask you. Where are those Hausa people today? Do you see them anymore? Those saying we are Hausa Fulani, we are Hausa Fulani. Do you see them again today? Do you see them? I'm asking you. No, because Fulani have completely overwhelmed them. It's called emasculation. Completely emasculated them. Look at what they're doing in the East. In the East, they come to the East, I will tell you, oh, you want to be the president or vice? Yeah. They say, give us land for Ruga. They give them land. I saw Joseph Okabe do that law, Banta. They have taken it over in forever and ever. Give us land in your state. Hope of them prove to us that you are our stooge. Give us land in Olu. Hope of them will give them land in Olu. We can go and kill people in Obibo. We can kill for them. How many Fulani governors are prepared to kill bandits? I didn't say normal people. I'm talking about armed, dangerous bandits. How many Fulani governors? Go and read your newspapers, you will see it there. Fulani governors are negotiating with them, giving them arms, giving them vehicles, making sure that their life is no longer a misery. But see, they come down to the south. They tell you, give us land for Ruga. Go and kill your people to prove to us that you're one Nigerian. That was why Obioso was talking rubbish, was it yesterday or 2 days ago, supported by the BBC. The problem you people have in Nigeria is this. Your journalists, you see people, Punch newspaper, Tribune, Vanguard, and Nation, they are your second worst enemies. I'm telling you the truth. They can never ever be objective in their reportage. Never, ever, ever. That's why all of you are suffering. But you don't know it. They were the same people used to scuttle the NSAS protest. Of course, some of you went about looking for Indomie in warehouses. Typical black people. Any revolution that is coming now, you must stand very firm. They'll say, oh, you're Igbo. Oh, you're Yoruba. Oh, you're from Europe. Don't join them. It's our turn in 2023. If you do this, you will scuttle our chances of becoming the president.
Well, I think we have come to a certain extent today, and I'm going to call it a day in this particular section. Well, I am still Chinedu. Until I come your way next time, remain blessed while we look for solution to this problem that we are having in Nigeria. And I believe that this time around, God is going to salvage his people out of the hands of the enemies. Thank you.